Welcome to Lesson 2 of Module 4, Theories and Laws. Firstly, we're going to complete our Do Now. So what else can you find out from this video? Based on the other two videos you've watched and Lesson 1, let's watch this fact versus theory versus hypothesis and law and see if you can find out any other important information. So pause this video now and watch this other embedded YouTube video. So hopefully you've had a discussion based on the information that you learnt in Lesson 1 and anything else you would have picked up from that video. In these next couple of videos, we're going to be looking specifically at theories and answering the inquiry question, what leads to a theory being developed? Specifically in this video, we're going to be looking at the germ theory and the oxygen theory of combustion. And our learning intention for today is to gather information and evidence used to support ideas. So how is a theory developed? Well, it undergoes these 4 stages, we can see here in this graphic. So we start with the speculative stage, and it attempts to explain what's happening, usually by questions or inferences. And then we go to the descriptive stage, where we gather descriptive data to describe what's really happening. So we're gathering the evidence that we're going to use. The constructive stage revises old theories and develops new ones. And developing the theory statements. And then validation is where a new theory is proposed and can either be accepted or disproved by the profession. So one of the theories we're going to look at in this video, which is in the syllabus, is the germ theory of disease, which we have looked at in our previous modules. So looking at it in module 3 for how we model the transmission of diseases. We're going to be looking again at how we look at the germ theory of disease and how bits of information all led together for us to propose this theory. So pause this now to watch this YouTube video. So we can see here on the right a bit of a timeline of the germ theory of disease and how these different bits of evidence, while looked at in isolation, do actually make sense. When they all get put together, because they're from different fields, when they all get put together, they are used to for the germ theory of disease. And the second theory we're going to look at in this set of lessons is the oxygen theory of combustion. So we're going to look at Antoine Lavoisier, and what was first proposed was the phlogiston theory. So the idea that when a metal was burnt, what actually happened was that they saw a reduction in the mass, and they thought that when it burnt, that it was releasing phlogiston, and this given off into the air is what caused the mass of the object to decrease, when in fact what we now know is that the metal is actually burning with oxygen, so therefore that what we were seeing there was not actually correct, and therefore we needed a new theory to replace the phlogiston theory. So pause this video now to watch this video here about the origin of what we call modern chemistry. So both these theories require us to undertake a secondary source investigation. So for both, we're going to be looking at what the theory is, timeline of it developed, what evidence they looked at, and then explaining how technologies helped in collecting the evidence that we now see, and then discussing whether we think the theory is fully developed, and then if there's any concepts that are in the theory that we still have that are unanswered, we're going to be looking at those as well. So our practical we are going to look at the phlogiston theory of combustion, and we're going to be looking at what the phlogiston theory would have predicted, and therefore whether that is correct, and looking at how we can now explain it using the oxygen theory of combustion. And finally, as part of lesson 2, we're going to complete the Google form, which remember has some really critical practice questions that we'll use as part of our yearly exam, and also updating our inquiry question log, so what leads to a theory being developed. Make sure you tune in for lesson 3.